The crystal wine glass shattered in my grip, sending shards and red wine cascading across my sister-in-law's pristine cream carpet. The entire room fell silent, all eyes darting between my trembling hand and Brianna's smug face. I'm Alexis, and this was the moment I decided enough was enough. Oh, look, another mess for someone else to clean up. Brianna's voice dripped with disdain. Just like everything else in your life, right, Alexis? The family gathering had started pleasantly enough. Ricardo, my husband, had insisted we attend his mother's birthday celebration despite my reservations. Now, as I watched Brianna's perfectly manicured hand wave dismissively at the spreading stain, I remembered why I'd been reluctant to come. I'll clean it up, I said quietly, already reaching for the napkins. Don't bother, Brianna sneered. Maria, call the cleaning service. God knows Alexis can't afford to replace this carpet, being unemployed and all. My mother-in-law wrung her hands nervously. Brianna, dear, perhaps we should… No, mother. Someone needs to say it. Brianna stood up, smoothing her designer dress. We've all been tiptoeing around this for years. While the rest of us work hard and contribute to society, Alexis here sits at home all day, probably scrolling through social media and watching reality TV. Ricardo stepped forward. That's enough, Brianna. Is it? She laughed, the sound sharp and cruel. Your wife comes from a family of failures. Her parents couldn't even keep their grocery store afloat, and now she's following in their footsteps, useless and pitiful. The room collectively gasped. My friend Summer, who'd been invited as moral support, started to rise from her seat, but I caught her eye and shook my head slightly. I mean, honestly, Brianna continued, clearly enjoying her audience. What do you even do all day besides breaking expensive things you can't replace? I stood up slowly, careful not to step on the glass. I manage just fine, Brianna. Managing just fine? She scoffed. Is that what you call living off my brother's salary? You know what your problem is. You lack ambition, drive, any sense of professional pride. Some of us actually worked our way up in the corporate world. If she only knew. The irony of her words almost made me laugh out loud, but I held it in. Instead, I smiled. A small knowing smile that seemed to unsettle her for just a moment. You're right about one thing, Brianna, I said softly. Some of us do work our way up. She blinked, clearly thrown by my calm response. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing at all. I turned to Maria. I'm so sorry about the carpet. I'll have it professionally cleaned first thing tomorrow morning. Don't make promises you can't keep, Brianna muttered. Ricardo wrapped an arm around my shoulders. We should go. As we gathered our things, I could hear Brianna's voice carrying across the room. I just don't understand why he stays with her. She brings nothing to the table. Summer caught up with us at the door. Alexis, you can't let her talk to you like that. Why didn't you tell them about… Not now, I whispered, noticing Brianna's curious glance our way. In the car, Ricardo apologized profusely. I'm so sorry about my sister. She's always been a nightmare. I managed a weak smile. He squeezed my hand. I was going to say, difficult, but your words better. As we drove home, I pulled out my phone and opened my email. There, waiting in my inbox, was a message from my HR department about recent complaints regarding a certain middle manager's behavior. I clicked it open, my smile growing wider as I read the name, Brianna McCormick. Everything okay? Ricardo asked, noticing my expression. Perfect, I replied, closing the email. Just perfect. Little did Brianna know her unemployed sister-in-law owned the very company she worked for. I'd built my business from scratch, using a pseudonym to maintain my privacy. Now, as I sat in the passenger seat, the wheels in my mind started turning. Perhaps it was time for karma to pay my dear sister-in-law a visit. I touched the screen of my phone again, opening a message to Liam, my business partner. We need to talk. It's time for some changes at the office. The response came almost immediately. Finally going to do something about her. I glanced at Ricardo, peacefully focused on driving, unaware of the storm brewing in my mind. Yes, I typed back. It's time she learned about consequences. Another complaint about Brianna. Liam tossed the tablet onto my desk, running his hands through his salt and pepper hair. That's the third one this month. I leaned back in my office chair, taking in the downtown view through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my private office. The irony wasn't lost on me. While Brianna thought I was lounging at home in pajamas, I was actually 15 floors above her, running the company she bragged about working for. What did she do this time? I asked, though I could probably guess. Reduced an intern to tears during a presentation. Liam dropped into the chair across from me, called her work kindergarten level in front of the entire marketing team. Sounds familiar. I picked up the tablet, scanning the formal complaint. Just like at dinner last night. She hasn't changed since high school, has she? You never told me how you ended up hiring her in the first place. I didn't. I set the tablet down. You did. Remember back when we were expanding the marketing department, I was on that month-long business trip in Europe, right? Liam chuckled. And by the time you got back, she was already established here. Imagine my surprise when I checked the new hire list. My phone buzzed. A text from Ricardo. Brianna's still talking about last night. Says she's worried about you being directionless. Want me to say something? I typed back quickly. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. You know, Liam said, watching me. You could just tell them, your husband, his family, about all this. He gestured around the office. About Build Better. About you being the founder. I shook my head. It's not that simple, isn't it? Before I could answer, my computer pinged with a new email. It was from Douglas in HR, marked urgent. I opened it and my blood pressure rose as I read. Listen to this, I said to Liam. Brianna just berated her entire team for missing a deadline she never communicated. 2 employees have requested transfers and 1 is threatening to quit. Liam whistled low. She's getting worse because she thinks she's untouchable. I stood up, pacing the office. Did you know she told everyone at dinner that I'm living off my husband's salary? That my family were failures because our grocery store went under? The store that failed because you were 14 and your parents got sick? Liam's voice was sharp with anger. The one you later turned into your first successful online business? The very same. I stopped at the window, watching the busy street below. You know what the best part is? The bonus she bragged about last month, she earned that using the marketing strategy I developed. My phone buzzed again. Summer this time. Still can't believe you let her talk to you like that last night. When are you going to put her in her place? A knock at the door interrupted my reply. Come in, I called out. Douglas entered, looking concerned. Sorry to interrupt, but we need to discuss the Brianna situation. The team's morale is at an all-time low. I gestured for him to sit. Tell me everything. It's not just the verbal abuse, Douglas explained, pulling out his notebook. She's taking credit for other people's work, manipulating project timelines, and creating a hostile work environment. Sounds familiar, Liam muttered. My computer pinged again, this time with a recording of today's marketing meeting. I clicked play and Brianna's voice filled the office. Speaking of useless people, you should meet my sister-in-law. Doesn't work, doesn't contribute, just sits around all day. People like that are what's wrong with society. I stopped the recording, my jaw clenched. She's using me as an example of failure to motivate her team. That's actually mild compared to some other things she said, Douglas admitted. I sat back down, my mind made up. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Douglas, I want a formal investigation into her conduct. Liam, start documenting everything. Every complaint, every incident, every inappropriate comment, but keep my name out of it for now. And then, Liam asked, and then we let karma do its job. I smiled, remembering Brianna's smug face from last night. It's time she learned that actions have consequences. As they left my office, I picked up my phone to finally reply to Summer. Don't worry, justice is coming. She just doesn't know it yet. I looked at the family photo on my desk, Ricardo and me at our wedding, with Brianna standing off to the side, wearing that characteristic look of disdain. Soon, very soon, that look would be replaced with something else entirely. My computer pinged one more time, another complaint about Brianna. I opened it with a grim smile. She had no idea she was digging her own grave, one nasty comment at a time. Effective immediately, all employees must document their project contributions in detail, I announced in the virtual company meeting from my home office. My voice carried authority through the speakers as I watched dozens of faces on my screen, including Brianna's scowling one. This is ridiculous, Brianna's voice cut through. More paperwork means less actual work getting done. I kept my voice neutral. The policy ensures everyone receives proper credit for their contributions. Any objections, Brianna? She shifted uncomfortably in her seat. No, Miss Stone. She had no idea she was speaking to her sister-in-law. Alexandra Stone was my professional pseudonym. Excellent. Douglas, please proceed with the new workplace conduct guidelines. As Douglas detailed the new policies, I watched Brianna's expression darken. These changes would make it impossible for her to take credit for her team's work or bully them without consequences. My phone buzzed. A text from Ricardo. Working late tonight. Brianna's having some crisis at work. Says her boss is making things difficult. I bit back a smile as I replied. Poor thing. Hope it works out. The meeting continued, and I minimized my video feed, officially stepping away while still watching. Within minutes, Brianna started complaining to a colleague. First, all these new policies, now this harassment prevention training between you and me. My sister-in-law Alexis could use some workplace training, if she ever actually got a job, that is. I clicked the recording button, adding another clip to my growing collection of Brianna's unprofessional behavior. A private message popped up from Liam. She really can't help herself, can she? Not even a little, I typed back. After the meeting, I called Summer, who'd been begging for updates. You should see her face, I said, settling onto my couch. Every new policy feels like a personal attack. Because they are, Summer laughed. But she deserves it. How's the documentation coming along? Douglas has compiled quite a file. The funny thing is, she's doing most of the work herself. Can't seem to go a single day without... The doorbell interrupted me. Through the security camera, I saw Brianna standing at my front door, looking agitated. Speaking of the devil, gotta go some, she's here. I opened the door to find Bri in her business attire, makeup slightly smeared from what I assumed was a frustrating day at work. Rough day? I asked innocently. Like you'd know anything about that, she snapped, pushing past me into the house. Where's Ricardo? Working late. Something about helping his sister with a work crisis. Brianna paced my living room. Everything's falling apart, these new policies. It's like they're designed specifically to target me. How so? Suddenly, everyone needs to document everything. We need witnesses for performance reviews, can't even give feedback without filing reports. She stopped pacing to glare at me. But what would you know about corporate politics? I sat down, maintaining my calm demeanor. More than you might think. Please, she scoffed. The most complicated decision you make is what to watch on Netflix. My phone pinged. An email notification about another complaint against Brianna. I smiled. What's so funny? She demanded. Just thinking about how things have a way of working themselves out. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing. I stood up. Would you like some tea? No, I don't want tea, I want... She trailed off, running her hands through her hair. Something's not right at work. It's like someone's out to get me. Karma, maybe? She froze, studying my face. What did you say? Just that sometimes our actions have consequences. Wouldn't you agree? Brianna's eyes narrowed. You're different lately. Ever since that dinner, you're almost smug. Am I? Or am I just not acting like the failure you want me to be? Before she could respond, her phone rang. She checked the screen and cursed. It's my boss. Apparently, there's been another complaint. You should probably take that, I said sweetly. Wouldn't want to seem unprofessional. As she stormed out to take the call, I pulled out my laptop and opened my email. Douglas had already forwarded me the latest complaint. Apparently, Brianna had made more disparaging comments about lazy people who don't work during the afternoon meeting. I drafted a quick response. Schedule a formal review for next week. It's time to address this pattern of behavior. From outside, I heard Brianna's raised voice. What do you mean I need to attend sensitivity training? I couldn't help but feel a flutter of satisfaction. The wheels were in motion, and my sister-in-law's carefully constructed world was about to come crashing down. My phone lit up with a message from Liam. Ready for phase 2. I watched through the window as Brianna paced on my front lawn, gesturing angrily into her phone. Absolutely, I typed back. Let's turn up the heat. The Sunday family brunch tradition felt different this time. I watched Brianna push her eggs around her plate, dark circles under her eyes betraying her lack of sleep. The usual sharp-tongued comments about my unemployment were notably absent. More coffee? I offered, holding up the pot. She jumped slightly as if startled from deep thought. What? Oh, yes. As I poured, Maria touched her daughter's hand. Brianna, dear, you seem stressed. Is everything all right at work? It's fine, she snapped, then caught herself. I mean, it's just been challenging lately. Challenging how? I asked innocently. Brianna's eyes narrowed. You're awfully interested in my work life suddenly. Just trying to be supportive. Family should support each other, shouldn't they? Ricardo nodded approvingly at my words, completely missing the tension crackling between us. Speaking of support, Brianna said, her voice taking on its familiar edge. How's the job search going, Alexis? Before I could respond, her phone buzzed. The color drained from her face as she read the message. Everything okay? I asked. I need to make a call. She stood abruptly, nearly knocking over her coffee cup. Through the dining room window, I watched her pace the backyard, her free hand gesturing wildly as she spoke. I could guess what the call was about, the anonymous note I'd had delivered to her desk on Friday. Your treatment of colleagues has been noticed. Consider this a warning. I worry about her, Maria sighed. She works so hard. Maybe too hard, I suggested. Sometimes people get so caught up in their careers, they forget about basic human decency. Brianna burst back in, her face flushed. Did you do this? Do what? I asked calmly. She thrust her phone in my face, showing the note. This threatening message. Ricardo stood up. Brianna, what are you talking about? Someone's trying to sabotage me at work, and she's been acting weird ever since all this started. I took a slow sip of coffee. That's quite an accusation. How could I possibly influence anything at your company? I'm just an unemployed failure, remember? I don't know how, but you're behind this somehow, Maria intervened. Brianna, dear, you're not making sense. Alexis couldn't possibly. You don't know what she's capable of. Brianna's voice rose hysterically. Things started going wrong right after that dinner. The new policies, the complaints, this note. Sounds like karma to me, I said softly. Brianna froze. There it is again. That word. You said it the other day too. It's just a word, Brianna. Unless you have something to feel guilty about. She slammed her hands on the table, making the dishes rattle. Stop playing games. What do you know? I know that actions have consequences, I said, standing to meet her gaze. I know that treating people like dirt eventually catches up with you. I know that assuming someone is worthless because they don't fit your definition of success is short-sighted. The room fell silent. Ricardo and Maria exchanged worried glances. Are you threatening me? Brianna whispered. Not at all. I'm just making an observation. Maybe instead of looking for someone to blame, you should examine your own behavior. My phone buzzed, a message from Liam. Monday's board meeting is set. Ready to proceed, I said. This isn't over, Brianna hissed, grabbing her purse. I'm going to figure out what you're up to. Nothing to figure out, I smiled. I'm just sitting at home all day, remember? Watching Netflix and being useless. She stormed out the front door, slamming it behind her. Maria hurried after her daughter, leaving me alone with Ricardo. What was that about? He asked, bewildered. I squeezed his hand. Just your sister learning some life lessons. Should I be worried? Not at all. I kissed his cheek. Everything's exactly as it should be. After they left, I opened my laptop to check my work email. Douglas had sent over the final documentation for tomorrow's board meeting. Everything was in place, the complaints, the recorded incidents, the pattern of behavioral issues. Brianna's career at Bill Better was about to hit a major roadblock. My phone rang, Summer calling for an update. You should have seen her face, I said, settling onto the couch. She knows something's up, but she can't prove anything. Are you sure you want to go through with tomorrow's plan? I thought about all the people Brianna had belittled, all the careers she'd damaged, all the cruel words she'd spewed. Absolutely, I replied. It's time for my sister-in-law to learn that even the mighty can fall. As I hung up, another message from Brianna popped up. Whatever you're doing, I'll prove it. I smiled, typing back. Good luck with that. By the way, don't be late for tomorrow's board meeting. I hear it's going to be interesting. The board is ready, Liam announced through my office phone, and Brianna's waiting in the conference room. I stood at my office window, watching the morning traffic below. How does she look? Like she's about to face a firing squad. Douglas is with her now. Perfect. Give me 5 minutes. I smoothed my blazer and checked my reflection in the window. Today would be the first time Brianna would see me in my true professional element, though she wouldn't know it yet. Alexandra Stone, CEO, would be joining via video conference, or so she thought. My phone buzzed with a text from Ricardo. Brianna's not answering her phone. Mom's worried. Everything okay? I'm sure she's just in a meeting, I replied, the irony not lost on me. I grabbed my tablet and headed to the private observation room adjacent to the conference room. Through the one-way glass, I could see Brianna fidgeting with her pen, her usual confidence nowhere in sight. Douglas sat across from her, reviewing documents. Let's begin, I said into the microphone, my voice digitally altered to sound slightly different. The large screen at the front of the conference room flickered to life, showing my office. Empty now, but the camera angle carefully chosen to hide that fact. Miss Stone, Douglas began, we're here to discuss several serious complaints regarding Brianna's conduct. This is ridiculous, Brianna interrupted. I'm one of your top performers. Performance doesn't excuse behavior, I responded. Douglas, please proceed. He opened a folder. We have documented evidence of workplace bullying, credit theft, and creating a hostile environment. Would you like to hear some specific examples? This is a witch hunt. Brianna stood up. Someone's out to get me. I bet it's my sister-in-law. Somehow she's been acting strange lately. I leaned into the microphone. Your sister-in-law, the unemployed one you mentioned in last week's meeting. The one you used as an example of, quote, everything wrong with society. Brianna paled. You heard that? We have recordings of several instances where you've used personal family matters to belittle others in the workplace. That's highly unprofessional. I didn't realize. Clearly. I pressed a button, and audio filled the room, Brianna's voice, mocking various employees taking credit for their work, making snide comments about their backgrounds. Would you like to explain these incidents? Douglas asked. Brianna slumped in her chair. I was just trying to motivate people. Through fear and humiliation? I asked. That's not leadership. That's bullying. But my numbers mean nothing if you're destroying team morale. We've had 6 transfer requests from your department in the past month alone. Tears welled in Brianna's eyes. Please, I can do better. I need this job. Like your sister-in-law needed support instead of mockery. The words slipped out before I could stop them. Brianna's head snapped up. What did you say? I quickly recovered. I'm simply pointing out the irony of asking for compassion when you've shown none to others. Douglas cleared his throat. Given the severity and pattern of these incidents, we're placing you on immediate administrative leave pending further review. No, please. Brianna leaned forward. I have a mortgage, car payments. My whole family thinks I'm successful. I can't lose this. Perhaps you should have thought about that before creating such a toxic environment, I said. You're dismissed for now. We'll contact you with our final decision. As Brianna gathered her things, hand shaking, she looked directly at the camera. Whoever you are, Miss Stone, you don't understand. This job is everything to me. I understand perfectly, I replied. More than you know. After she left, Douglas entered the observation room. That was intense. Are you sure you want to proceed with termination? I watched through the glass as Brianna waited for the elevator, mascara streaking down her cheeks. She needs to learn that success built on cruelty isn't success at all. My phone buzzed. Maria this time. Brianna just called me crying. Said something terrible happened at work. Do you know anything about this? Sorry to hear that, I typed back. I'm sure everything will work out as it should. Liam appeared in the doorway. Ready for phase 2? The company-wide email about workplace conduct is drafted. I nodded, thinking about Brianna's tearful plea. For a moment, I felt a twinge of guilt. Was I becoming just like her? Then I remembered all the careers she'd damaged, all the people she'd hurt, all the times she'd used her position to belittle others. Send it, I said firmly. It's time everyone knew that Build Better doesn't tolerate bullies, no matter how high their sales numbers are. As I watched Brianna's defeated figure disappear into the elevator, I knew there was no turning back now. The final act was about to begin, and my sister-in-law was about to learn the true meaning of karma. The family dinner that night was like navigating a minefield. Brianna sat at the far end of the table, pushing food around her plate while Maria kept shooting concerned glances between us. "Would anyone like more potatoes?" I offered, trying to break the suffocating silence. "How can you act so normal?" Brianna suddenly burst out, like nothing's wrong. Ricardo set down his fork. "Brianna, what's going on? You've been crying all day." "I'm being investigated at work," she choked out. "They're saying horrible things about me, that I'm a bully." "Well," I said carefully, measuring my words. "Are you?" Her head snapped up. There it is again. That tone. "You know something, don't you?" "I'm just asking a simple question." "Nothing about you is simple anymore." Brianna pushed her chair back. "Ever since that dinner, you've been different. Confident. Smug even." Maria reached for her daughter's hand. "Sweetheart, you're not making sense." "Aren't I?" Brianna stood up, pointing at me. "The timing is too perfect. Right after I called her out for being unemployed, everything at work started falling apart." Ricardo sighed. "How could Alexis possibly affect your job?" "She doesn't even work." I finished for him, taking a sip of wine. "Are you sure about that?" The room fell silent. Brianna's eyes widened. "What exactly are you saying?" she whispered. Before I could respond, her phone buzzed. The color drained from her face as she read the message. They're reviewing security footage now," she said, her voice trembling, "looking for evidence of workplace harassment." "Sounds thorough," I commented. "This is all your fault," she screamed, throwing her napkin down. "I don't know how, but you're behind this." "Brianna," I said calmly, "maybe instead of blaming others, you should consider why so many people have complained about your behavior." "Complained?" Her voice wavered. "They're lying. I'm a great manager." "Is that why your team calls you the destroyer behind your back?" She froze. How do you know that?" I realized my mistake too late. Maria and Ricardo were staring at me. "Office gossip travels." I recovered quickly. Even unemployed people hear things. Brianna's phone buzzed again. She read the message and collapsed back into her chair, sobbing. "They're calling me in tomorrow morning for a final review." "I'm sure it will be fine," Maria soothed, but Brianna shook her head. "You don't understand. They have everything documented. Every comment, every meeting, every time." She trailed off, looking sick. "Every time you what?" I pressed. "Every time you made someone cry, took credit for their work, used them as examples of failure." "Stop it," she screamed. "Just stop. You're enjoying this, aren't you? About as much as you enjoyed mocking me and my family." Ricardo touched my arm. "Alexis, what's going on?" Before I could answer, Brianna's phone rang. She answered it, hands shaking. "Yes, Mr. Douglas, I understand. First thing tomorrow. Yes, I'll bring my badge." She hung up looking shell-shocked. "Badge?" Maria asked nervously. "They want my security badge," Brianna whispered. They said to be prepared for all outcomes." I stood up, gathering plates. "Karma's funny that way." "There's that word again," Brianna said, her voice hardening. "You keep saying karma, like you know something." My phone chose that moment to ping with an email from Liam. "Everything's set for tomorrow. Sure you want to do this?" Brianna lunged for my phone, but I pulled it away. "Show me," she demanded. "Show me what you're hiding." "Brianna, stop this." Ricardo stood between us. "You're acting crazy." "Am I?" "Ask your wife what she does all day. Ask her how she knows so much about my company. Ask her—" "Enough." I cut her off. "You want answers? Come to the meeting tomorrow. You'll get all the answers you need." She stared at me, realization slowly dawning. "Oh my God," she whispered. "It can't be. You're not—" I picked up my phone, deliberately opening my email. "Like I said, Brianna, karma." She grabbed her purse and ran out, leaving the rest of us in stunned silence. "Alexis?" Ricardo said slowly. "What's really going on?" I touched his cheek gently. "Tomorrow, honey. All the secrets end tomorrow." As if on cue, my phone lit up with a message from Douglas. "Final termination papers ready for a review, Miss Stone." I smiled, thinking about tomorrow's meeting. Brianna wanted to know my secrets. She was about to learn them all, along with a harsh lesson about underestimating people. Time for bed, I announced. Tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day. The elevator doors opened on the 15th floor, and Brianna stepped out, clutching her security badge. Her usual confident stride was gone, replaced by uncertain steps as she approached the conference room. I watched through the one-way glass as Douglas greeted her. "Please take a seat. Miss Stone will be joining us shortly." "In person this time?" Brianna asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Douglas replied, arranging papers on the table. "In person." I smoothed my blazer and checked my reflection one final time. Liam appeared beside me. "Ready for the grand reveal?" I nodded. "Let's end this." I entered the conference room, heels clicking against the hardwood floor. Brianna's back was to me, but I saw her shoulders tense at the sound. "Good morning, Brianna," I said in my natural voice. She spun around so fast she nearly fell out of her chair. Her face went from confusion to shock to horror in the span of seconds. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no, no." "Yes," I said, taking my seat at the head of the table. "I believe you know me as Alexandra Stone, CEO of Build Better." I let the words sink in. "But you might be more familiar with calling me your unemployed sister-in-law." "This is impossible," she stammered. You're nothing. You sit at home all day." "You mean I run a multi-million-dollar company?" I finished for her. "Create jobs, drive innovation, or what was it you said at dinner last month? Contribute nothing to society." Douglas slid a folder across the table. "Your complete disciplinary record," he said, "including testimonials from team members, recorded incidents, and documentation of policy violations." Brianna's hand shook as she opened the folder. "All this time, you were my boss. Ironic, isn't it?" I leaned forward. "While you were mocking my unemployment, you were actually working for me, using my marketing strategies, earning bonuses from my company's success. Why didn't you tell me? Would it have made a difference? Would you have treated people better if you knew your worthless sister-in-law was the one signing your paychecks?" Tears streamed down her face. "Please, Alexis. I have bills, a mortgage, like my parents had when their store went under." I asked. "The same parents you called failures?" "I'm sorry," she sobbed. "I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did." I cut her off. "You meant every cruel word, every snide comment, every time you made someone feel small to make yourself feel big." Douglas cleared his throat. "Given the extensive evidence of workplace harassment and violation of company policies, we're terminating your employment effective immediately." "No!" Brianna stood up so quickly her chair toppled backward. "You can't do this. It's personal. It's revenge. It's business." I corrected her. "Your behavior has cost this company valuable employees and created a toxic work environment. The fact that you're my sister-in-law is irrelevant. I'll tell everyone. I'll tell Ricardo, Mother, the whole family." "Go ahead," I shrugged. "Tell them how you lost your job for bullying people. Tell them how you mocked your boss's family without knowing it. Tell them everything." She collapsed back into her chair, defeated. "How long have you been planning this?" "I wasn't planning anything. You did this to yourself. Every complaint, every incident, every piece of evidence, that was all you. I just stopped protecting you from the consequences." Douglas pushed a final document across the table. "Your termination papers. Sign here, please." Brianna's hand trembled as she picked up the pen. "The family will never forgive you for this." "Maybe not," I agreed. "But I can live with that." "Can you live with what you've done?" As she signed, I stood up. "Security will escort you to clear out your desk. Your final paycheck will be mailed to you." "That's it?" she whispered. "Years of service just over? Actions have consequences, Brianna. Consider this a lesson in humility." As security arrived to escort her out, she turned back one last time. "I really am sorry, Alexis." "I know," I said softly. "But sorry doesn't undo the damage you've caused." After she left, Liam entered with 2 cups of coffee. "Well, that was intense." "It had to be done," I sighed, taking a cup. "The company will be better for it." My phone buzzed. "Ricardo. Brianna just called Mom crying. Said she needs to tell us something important." Family meeting tonight. I looked at the empty doorway where Brianna had disappeared. Time to face the music, I said to Liam. The hard part's just beginning. Much harder, I replied, gathering my things. Now I have to explain to my husband why I've been lying to him all these years. The elevator dinged, and I watched Brianna walk out of the building for the last time, a box of belongings in her arms. Karma had finally caught up with her, but I couldn't help wondering if it would catch up with me too. You built all of this? Ricardo stood in my office taking in the view of the city skyline. While I thought you were unemployed? Yes. I perched on the edge of my desk, watching his face carefully. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. He turned to face me, his expression unreadable. Why didn't you? At first, it was about privacy. I wanted to succeed or fail on my own merits, not as Ricardo's wife. I gestured around the office. Then it became about proving something to myself. And finally, it was about Brianna, he finished. Not initially. But her constant belittling, the way she treated people, it became personal. The door opened and Maria burst in, followed by a red-eyed Brianna. Is it true? Maria demanded. You own the company. Yes. And you fired my daughter? She fired herself, I corrected. Her behavior did that. Brianna stepped forward. I found these in my box. She held out a stack of papers, copies of employee complaints, screenshots of cruel messages, transcripts of recorded meetings. I didn't realize. I never saw myself. Sit down, I said, gesturing to the chairs. All of you. Once they were seated, I pulled out a folder. This is what Build Better stands for. I handed them our company mission statement, employee testimonials, charity work documentation. We build people up, not tear them down. Brianna did the opposite. But she's family, Maria protested, which is exactly why I held off so long. I turned to Brianna. I gave you chances, multiple warnings, policy changes, training opportunities. You ignored them all. I thought I was untouchable, Brianna whispered. Ricardo stood up suddenly. All those times you defended Brianna to me when I complained about her behavior, you were actually her boss. Ironic, isn't it? I managed a small smile. Why tell us now? Maria asked. Because secrets destroy families, I replied. And despite everything, you are my family. Brianna pulled out an envelope. I wrote this last night. It's an apology to everyone I hurt, including you, Alexis. Especially you. I took the envelope but didn't open it. Actions speak louder than words. I know, she straightened up. That's why I've already enrolled in leadership courses and therapy. I want to be better. Ricardo moved to stand beside me. All this time, you were building something amazing, and we never knew. I built it because of you, I said softly. Your support gave me the freedom to try, even if you didn't know what I was trying to do. What happens now? Maria asked. That depends. I turned to Brianna. Are you ready to earn back trust? To start from the bottom and prove yourself? She nodded slowly. But how? There's a junior position opening in our Seattle office, entry level, no authority over others, a chance to learn humility and proper workplace behavior. Seattle? Maria gasped. But that's so far. Exactly, I said. A fresh start, away from old habits and expectations. Brianna wiped her eyes. You'd give me another chance. After everything, everyone deserves a chance to change, but this is your last one. Ricardo squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you, both for what you built and how you handled this. Even though I kept secrets, you kept secrets to build something meaningful. Brianna kept secrets to tear people down. There's a difference. My phone buzzed. A message from Summer. How'd it go? I looked at my family, Ricardo's proud smile, Maria's tearful acceptance, Brianna's humbled expression. We're going to be okay, I typed back. I have one condition, I announced. Complete honesty from now on, from all of us. They nodded in agreement. Good. I handed Brianna the Seattle job offer. Because Build Better is about to announce its expansion plans, and I'd rather my family hear it from me than the news. No more secrets, Ricardo agreed, kissing my cheek. No more bullying, Brianna added quietly. No more shame. I finished. Just truth, growth, and maybe forgiveness. Maria stood up, pulling me into a surprise hug. You've taught us all something important. What's that? That true success isn't about power or position. She glanced meaningfully at Brianna. It's about how you treat people along the way. I looked around my office, at the family I'd kept at arm's length for so long, at the empire I'd built in secret, at the sister-in-law who was finally learning humility. Welcome to the real Build Better, I said, where we all get a chance to build better versions of ourselves. And for the first time in years, the smile Brianna gave me held no malice, only hope, humility, and the promise of change. If there's one lesson I've learned from all of this, it's that success isn't just about titles, salaries, or the illusion of power. It's about how we treat people along the way. Too often we mistake cruelty for strength, thinking that stepping on others will get us ahead. But in the end, real power comes from integrity, from lifting others instead of tearing them down. Brianna thought she was untouchable, but no one is above consequences. Whether in a corporate office, a family, or everyday life, our actions shape our futures. Karma isn't just some abstract concept. It's the reflection of the choices we make. If we lead with kindness, fairness, and respect, we build something lasting, something worth being proud of. And if we don't, well, sooner or later, the truth catches up with us all. So choose wisely. Thank you for sharing this journey with me, and good luck.